after that comes the sound of his roar. He thunders with his majestic voice. When his voice resounds, he holds nothing back. Job 37:4. California, 2011. The vehicle of the Lord is the voice upon which you speak. I was asked to compose this foreword of this book by its author. For my knowledge pertaining to Kabbalah and a system of its practice, which entails the manipulation of words with numbers. The human inclination to control things are evidence of its origin. We assume the capability of our origin in the manner in which we perceive our existence. The wisdom of the ages has been hidden within the stories of humanity, and our story was prepared for us before we got here. The short and simple is this: you cannot know yourself or control the circumstances surrounding your life without language and the skillful use of effective communication. The reason why our social interactions are infused with so much confusion resides in our inability to take language serious enough to study its function. Minister Inky's work interested me for its audacious pursuit of factoids which pertain to language. I feel as though he is onto something. His tenacious desire to teach matches the willingness to master the several nuances and hidden motives behind the mystic mind. He will have a say in the future. Again, he will have a say in the future. English is a European language, and in its present conventional use, it does not possess within it the ability to aid consciousness to evolve. The use of English has been confined to the practice of persuasive argumentation in efforts to mold flawed perceptions. It is not a tool used to establish spiritual truth or to transform consciousness. Speaking English is aiding to hinder our ability to transcend the prison-like consciousness of material awareness. English has become the leading medium used to define matter. It is for this reason why one of the keys to achieving global domination involves creating and canonizing the definitions of the English language. This language is the language of commerce. If a country desires to compete in a global economy, it must speak the language of the masters of commerce. This language is the language of commerce. If a country desires to compete in a global economy, it must speak the language of the masters of commerce. We inherently possess an ability to create language. Consciousness incarnates as man in pursuit of self-knowledge. It learns to speak the sounds of self-creation. This endeavor is facilitated by the presence of cosmic intelligence, which expresses itself in man as instinct. Our reality is manufactured with the force of this cosmic instinct. Black cosmic genius is the incarnate mass. An incarnate mass shapes the conditions which facilitate the conditions required to maintain existence in this corner of the universe. Incarnate mass does not come in being with English. Sensory perception, when translated into emotions, expresses exchanged through sound. The ancients created languages with the sounds of incoming sensory information, which are the sounds they experienced in nature. Instinctually, these sounds were given corresponding glyphs and numeric potencies. In this way, a specific number of glyphs or numeric potency could be created by simply placing together various sounds. This form of ancient genius was used to create all archetypal forms of language spoken by the world's genius people of color. Hebrew, or should I say Ivrit, being one of them. When definitions are imposed upon the sounds we use to relate our emotions, and these definitions are not of our own creation, by adhering to them, we are communicating their meaning and not our own. In other words, our reality is shaped by the definitions we attribute to words. And if these definitions are not shaped by our inherent faculties, then our reality is not our own. It belongs to they who canonize and forcefully impose definition. Listen now at the skeptics who bray loudly, if English undermines our spiritual progress, then what language are we to speak? The answer is simply the language of metaphysics. The Bible and the society which is sustained by it cannot be understood unless each letter and word used to communicate it is lensed through a metaphysical system of equation-based thinking. To get to a specific destination in thought, thinking must take on a particular vestige of form. This vestige is created when we attribute psychological principles to the sound and number potency of the characters used in its written expression. Enki is doing that. To receive the answer of an equation, all of the factors of that equation must be expressed in symbolic form. The mind of God needs contrasts, which are tools it uses to arrive at the conclusion of self-knowing. That I must repeat. The mind of God needs contrast, which are tools it uses to arrive at the conclusion of self-knowing. Self-knowing is a vestige of stimulated ideas and emotions and are powerful spiritual forces. We must use these sounds to give shape and dimension to our reality. With words do we construct our universe. Enjoy these words. The Honorable and Illustrious Brother AA Rashid. Forward. An introduction for the Money Mind State. So let's talk straight talk. If you overweight, you're not eating good, you're eating a lot. The stereotypes we reinforce are killing us. Subconsciously, we want to become overweight because a large part of our community thinks it's a sign of success. It's not a sign of premature aging, it's not diabetes, it's not heart disease, the list goes on. But it's a sign of success. Here's another one. We've been broke so long that the recession ain't affecting us. Think about this, it's pure fact. Any given day, black people spend 70 to 90% of the money into the economy. Now, what that should tell you is that in order for us to spend 70-90% of the money into the economy, we must first possess 70 or 90% of the money prior to us being able to spend it into the economy. So what are we talking about? We're rich. We always been rich. We always had money and we always gonna get money. The problem is what we doing with that money.